careful because, I mean, HAWKS definitely a champ that you can just run away with the game if you get that 1 or 2 kills ahead.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, Gragas is a very lane neutralizing threat. Body Slam is just the most ridiculous trading tool, and it's really going to hope. I mean, this is Ray Farkey's most played champion. He's very comfortable on it. He's also looked very good on it. Dare I say, the best Gragas in the league. He has been very comfortable on using this champion not only as a lane neutral pick, really stops Ajax from being able to find any credible lead outside of maybe some CS, but also he's used this explosive cast to make repeated fights. And in this game specifically, it functions a very important tool because Kindred ulti has a lot of overall agency in this champion's kit, but also has a lot of flexibility in how it can be used. And specifically, if Burning Core aren't able to stop SoftBank HAWKS from getting into the Kindred ulti themselves, it just kind of creates neutrality for a couple of seconds before the fight continues. But Explosive Cask is the best tool to stop how this has worked. Gragas is often seen as a counter to Kindred, where you look it in tandem with it instead, and suddenly Burning Core have all of the go buttons.
Yeah, I got a whole lot of go buttons indeed, and we did get the go button for the match as well, as it is underway. We're in this thing looking at runes. What do we think? Spells as well. Anything interesting? Anything that piques your interest?
We are seeing. So I'm really happy Fuji went into that aftershock. We see obviously Reiner opting for the Glacian instead. So a bit of different goals coming in. I think both teams identify their own roles. Reiner knows there's a lot of damage coming up from Burning Core, whereas Fuji understands that he's going to have to be a bit more of a front line in this game. Very squishy comp overall, and especially Nautilus, not kind of one of the squishier tank supports that we've been seeing locked in, and going into the aftershock, stepping in at Alleviate. Now, interestingly enough, Flawless opts for this solo is clear, and also knows that very likely Blank is going to be starting towards his bot side, and he really does want an early skirmish with this jungler. So pathing away from him instead, and I'm interested to see how Flawless actually opts into clear, if he's going to opt for a full clear, or if he's going to look for this 4-camp and maybe look for an early gank towards maybe these more vulnerable laners. We're seeing a little bit trading.
Yeah, indeed. Question is, who's going to be coming out on top here with that glacial proc? Falcon can't really move too much, but he's just a tanky boy, so it doesn't matter too much to him. Yuhi going to take a little bit of damage as well. Looking at those power spikes. Yeah, you're already saying, oh, tell me why, please.
I love Blitzcrank. I think he's a really cool bot, but it does spell maybe how AIs work and how humans work instead, because it's sensing a little bit of back and forth in this early game, depending on different item spikes. And I think that's going to be really important to look towards, is who gets on them, who makes the first early skirmish and who gets on the mythics first. Because I think actually these lanes are fairly net neutral. The big thing is Yuhi obviously on this nerf Jinx now. First couple of levels suffers from mana issues, which means that especially in Desire, which can be very lane focused alongside with this Leona, this could be a potential early bleeding point if Flawless doesn't path down and help support that lane.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we did see Yuhi grabbing that presence of mind as well. Going to try his best to hold on to as much mana as possible. And we've seen this top lane already. Ray Farkey slowly pushing in that wave. We saw those trades coming out and then just body slammed right into him. And it was like nothing even happened. Gonna have to wait and see. But that would open up a great opportunity for Blank to head up to that top lane and maybe grab Kinatsu that first kill.
One thing I love from DICE actually is that he's identified Ryze as having some notoriously good wave play, and he's opted into Minion Dematerializer. So that, I mean, Ari now with the changes with that bonus damage on her Q way back when in the little mini rework she received, she now gets the opportunity to wave play around level 7, level 8. But Minion Demat is going to help enable that even earlier. And also if she opts into a couple of melee minions as well, it means she's going to clear that wave even earlier. And it means that Ryze, he loves to just shove in the waves and just walk around the map. This can help DICE to match that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did see that Blank did head on into the top jungle. Flawless here trying to get some vision, actually getting some vision down here, seeing what they can call out, get some information going. Information inequality is a huge thing, obviously, as RMC would say. So want to get as much info as you can. Bless that man's soul.
God, he's so smart, isn't he?
For real.
I love watching his cast. I like a new phrase I've stolen from him is the economy baron. The first baron you pick up, you use to unlock all those tier 2s. I love that phrase. It's been my catchphrase.
Economy baron.
Yeah.
Dude,
Very smart.
Who
He's a smart
this
boy.
guy? Oh my god, bro, he's a caster meta maker. That being said, though, in this top lane, a whole lot of stuff going down here. Ray Farkey looking for a bit of a trade on Kinatsu. However, Flawless looking for something here. The ward is just going to get dropped. The wrong place, wrong time for Flawless, and so he will get spotted out. It's going to be for naught, and it said we'll have to back off.
Yeah, so Ray Fuku was finding some early good trades with this wave shot, but as it's come back to him, Aatrox is starting to bully him out a little bit, and I think this will be the case. Both of these champions really spike in lane around that level 8, level 9 mark, max points in Q and E respectively, so we're going to be seeing how each lane... I honestly am excited to see if there's going to be any bleeding in this lane. I think Gragas, a notorious lane neutralizer, but against Aatrox, who's so good at picking off range threats, means that...
yeah.
Yes, I'm into it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, indeed. His flaws here might just end up running into blank. Might see a bit of a conundrum here as Dasher is with him there as well, but gonna opt to not try to do anything just yet. Gonna wait him out a little bit longer. Now we do see the first dragon is up, and at the moment, looking like Flawless gonna go ahead and he's finishing up those raptors, and then maybe the move is to head on down bot, try and grab that drag.
And something interesting from Yuhi, opted for a Cole. Now, I don't know if this was a Cole start or if he started sword and triple pot. My eyes were not paying attention. But nonetheless, because of this tier start from Sai, she spends about 400 gold to pick up something that's relatively scaling. Well, Yuhi's opted into the same. And I like it. I love Cole, actually. But into this lane, it does delay that first mythic by around 450 gold, and we already noticed that Blitzcrank bot was very eager to show that there's going to be a lot of back and forth in the early game depending on item spikes, and I think delaying that, especially with this Nautilus as well and the amount of damage overall coming from this comp, could be really, really important.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to wait and see how that does end up playing out. And we see Flawless grabbing that skull crab, and already the most parts of the team here are converging into this river, both getting pretty hungry for that first dragon. Top lane, meanwhile, they're just doing top laner things. They're just minding their own business, right? Nothing really going on there. They're just gonna do what they got to do. As bot lane is fighting for control over prio here of this lane. We're gonna have to wait and see though.
Top lane matchup is actually quite an exciting one to watch because Kanatu was such a big force last split, and combining that with Rayfar, he's looked incredibly dominant this split. And Kanatu also having a really brilliant uplift on their more recent games as well, means that we get kind of the two more consistent top laners of this. Well, I shouldn't say that because we've obviously got the likes of Ebby and Force as a big engagers found in the bot side.
Yes, indeed. The fight is kind of split off at the moment. Blank. I don't know what that was, but that just kind of happened. Used the Heartbreaker to get over the wall. I guess he was expecting the flash to come out from Yuhi, but no avail. Yuhi will escape with his life and now Marble. Terrible spot. However, first blood will still be found. Meantime, though, Kindred gonna pick up that first kill onto Marbles. That could be huge. Rhina trying his best, doing a lot of damage. Down goes Fujimoto, however. He's gonna get that reset. We're gonna try and get on the Flawless here. Has so much movement speed because of the Maw, and that's the Heartbreaker. And there we go. That's that counter ultimate we were coming out, but it's gonna be too little too late. Flashing over the wall. The Dance of Arrows to get as much distance as they can. Might just get out of this one. One more auto attack will seal the deal. Can Flawless run fast enough? He is running for his life, but it does not matter. We'll still go down to Dasher ultimately.
And a 3-for-1 for SoftBank HAWKS. It looked a little bit sketchy there as Blank maybe overreading Yuhi's pathing a little bit. And even though Burning Core had the first rotate, Dasher was on point to make sure this is a successful fight. And this is really the main issue with Burning Core here. Is that Yuhi is split off from Fuji completely. So Fuji is playing on the back foot. Yuhi is very low. So whilst number advantage is in the side of Burning Core, the two key members for this early skirmish are out of the fight. Dice is also chunked as well. All of this HP is depleted from Burning Core, and Dasher, big point here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Summoner spells coming in clutch as he flash ignites the Jinx combined with the Q to pick up the kill straight into the Realm Warp, making sure the successful fight. Huge from Dasher to ensure a successful fight for this early skirmish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, just the movement speed that's also coming out from that mist as well, allowing Flawless to be caught up onto by Blank and outland that hook. And then we did see that ultimate outplay that we were talking about that we're going to be seeing coming down a few times, where you drop that Lamb's Respite, which allows you to block the Heartbreaker's damage coming out. Obviously, at the end of the day, though, wasn't really too many places that Flawless could actually run off to and will be taken out at the end of the day, but still interesting to see.
They burned a lot of tempo for that play to lose out, but they're straight back on the forward foot. They've done a lane swap, which I really, really like. Because it means that that SoftBank HAWKS have grabbed that lead in the bot side. They want to find some advantage. They find it here. And Kanatu's burning the ult. He's looking for Fuji. But remember, all the players are top side.
Indeed. The World Ender has been popped, but it's looking like his world is going to be the only one that is ended at this point, because he is going to go down. Not going to get much damage out. Going out with a whimper rather than a bang.
Yeah, a little bit of a misstep from Kanate means that they're gonna immediately after picking up this Herald and they pulled all of the members of SoftBank top lane just to pick up a single kill, and yes, very well handled. Bunningcore still though in deficit, 1.3k, and Kindred, especially when it starts to fall behind, we're gonna have a big eyes on Flawless now. We can navigate here because as soon as Kindred fall behind, it becomes incredibly difficult for this champion to play the game correctly. It's very easy for invade angles, especially because of Leona having so much priority on roam time, especially into this Nautilus matchup, a little bit favored in the early game towards that Leona. So could become very difficult for the Kindred if it does fall behind further.
Yeah, not only that, also just those kill stacks. I don't think that Flawless has switched from marking blank since the start of the game, and so that's going to be quite detrimental. As only one kill under her belt, really going to be really relying on those stacks in the jungle itself to get that passive marks up. Gonna have to wait and see. It's like you're saying, right? Once Flawless does start falling behind, it's incredibly hard as a Kindred to actually get back into the game and get back to a useful state.
In return, though, he's actually managed to navigate lane fairly cleanly. Picked up a kill of himself in that bot side, in that top side skirmish even. And by and large, even CS, Cole is halfway done already. I think I'd be really happy with how Yuhi is coming into this mid game. Obviously, though, Marble is on this side. And the lethality build has just been the only build that people seem to be opting towards. There's been some conversation around maybe getting some crit mixed in there as well, because she did receive some changes recently that could allow for that. But most of the time we're seeing this, you see the Eclipse into the Mirror Mana, then the Seroldo's Grudge, a very quick and hard spiking curve that people really opt onto because it just enables your mid game fights to play oh so cleanly. And I think Hawks have identified that they're looking for the first strike here.
Yeah, about time, really. 11 minutes in, looking for that first dragon. Flawless also on his way down. We do see the Hex flash coming out from Fujimoto. Nothing really, just flashing in place in the bush there. Gonna try and see if they can find anything. So if they're coming out, they don't know that Flawless is in that bush yet. He's really biding his time, waiting to see who's all gonna pull up to the party. Now they're there, they're looking to send it. Rhina going in, and there we go. A very nice Lamb's Respite to dodge that Heartbreaker damage, but it doesn't even matter because the Rise is here too. Dasher just hits too hard. They will get a pick on Yuhi, but that's about all they're gonna find.
And Dasher finding roam timings within this lane is so important for the success of SoftBank Hawks. We can see that it looks really good for a second. Burning Cord, that lands Respite coming in to stop that Heartbreaker. Really big play. Unfortunately, so was Dasher coming in with that ultimate to make sure that the fight numbers are for his success. The Rune Prison comes down. Yuhi cannot move, and he gets picked off there for free, and it really stops. Remember, Flawless spent all this time around bot side to gain nothing for that, as well as burn the ultimate.
Yeah. The only thing that could have been worse is they dropped the Rift Trail down there. So at the very least, they didn't do that. So they still have the Rift Trail in their hands.
He's on a very swift timer for it, though, because look at how much time he has left before it's going. He's immediately running mid to try and see if he can get that summon before it runs out. So hopefully Flawless can get a decent summon coming in, because they put all that time as well into that lane rotation to secure this Herald. It needs to be used properly.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't just be placing it down and having it crash once in. So much damage coming out the hook. Not quite going to find its mark. And now Dice is in a peculiar position right now. Incredibly low. Less than half. Slowly healing up. Needs to be careful. They did drop that Rift Toad down. Is going to crash in that turret. But that gold is going to be split quite a few ways if they're not careful. Luckily, though, they're all going to back off. So 160 into the pockets of Dice and Flawless.
But you have to ask how much it's worth, because in return, Hawks got that shove-in the top side, all of that CS, as well as a plate that goes over to Kanatu. On top of that, Marble gets complete authority over this lane state now, and I'm assuming this can be a slow push into a quick shove to get the next 30 seconds of our game set up. And we see the Eclipse already picked up by Marble here. And after this point onwards, becomes very Xayah favored in these early skirmishes.
Yeah, exactly. And with the Jinx also only sitting on the Nuke River at the moment, that's just so much raw damage that he's not quite going to be having there at the moment. You can see he's scared to push up to the turret. It's got more than still 2 blades. Yeah, wow. Pulls the blades back, the feathers back, and they feel like blades, I'm sure, to Yuhi, because they cut real hard there. Mew on this mid lane, we do see the Everfrost proc coming now. It's so close. Dice almost going down. Can't quite find the damage that Dasher needs, though.
Yeah, tempo definitely favouring the if SoftBank HAWKS, and you can see it there. This is really the tell for how effective that Herald was there. All of those times spent not only picking up the Herald, and this is why you see a lot of people critique some Herald takeage. They spent all this time taking the Herald, then they pump all this time again into throwing it mid lane. They pick up 2 plates, and in return, SoftBank HAWKS with correct wave control as well as priority in their own lanes pick up more total gold from those plates in general. Very unfortunate for Burning Core, and this is what has led to their 1k deficit now. Now, 1k deficit, very little at 15 minutes in the game, but you can see really where it's showing right now, all in that mid lane. Dasher is the priority player right now. He's showing it in lane, and he's going to be spiking very, very hard coming to mid game, which is really important because Marble in a lane neutral state spikes harder anyway because of how the build works. These items spike harder within the early to mid game. So that really benefits. Dash is getting all this gold now, just going to mean that that curve is going to be so much easier for HAWKS to play through.
Yeah, we do see also Kinatsu looking to actually follow in Evi's footsteps here. He picked up that hull breaker, going to be that split push, a menace. You can already see him.
Interesting. Okay. That is a choice that he has made. And I think it must be because he knows that he's going to be stuck inside lane. I think getting Ray Farkey out of these team fights specifically to stop that combination that we saw, the Lamb's Respite into the explosive cask that we've alluded to so far. If you lock Ray Farkey into side lane, that combination doesn't become available anymore. And it means that Blank and Reiner get to play as aggressively as they want.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, we really haven't been able to see Ray Farkey in any of these fights. It's more just been these kind of 3 to 4 man scuffles. Now with the empowered teleport being available, we might get to see him have a chance of moving into these fights, but we're going to have to wait and see because if, like you're saying, right, if that split push threat from Kinatsu is just ever present, someone has to be up there to match. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at your base and your whole top side is just going to be missing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Unless teleport now available, Burning Core definitely aren't. It's not game over for them, for sure. Only a 1k deficit. Or I guess to say more like a 2k deficit at this point in the game as that first target got picked up in top side. So not a huge deal on it. Kanatu's moved down for the first rotate.
What's getting close? Solar Flare does land. They're looking to find a kill deficit as well as they're sending everything they got right now incredibly low. Not quite going to go down. Will go down. They'll find that kill for Flawless here. Cool. Indeed. They're looking to turn things around. Blank, trying to find something, but can't quite find anything. So the Rift Herald does crash into the turret. That's about all they're going to find though at the moment. They only lose Reina, and that's a huge tank off the board for them. The hook does land onto Dasher, but is going to cleanse, and so we'll get out of that one alive. Trying their best. Lamb's Respite has been popped, so now we have this kind of awkward low where we're all dancing around it. Kinatsu incredibly low, just barely going to get out of that one. The charm lands, and it's huge. Marble going to pop the ultimate. They'll go and more. We're going to go ahead and call the plays back, doing so much damage, but the Super Mega Death Rock will find Blank. He's going blank. His brain is at least as he's been just splattered up the pavement. Dice with the flash charm. Everfrost not quite gonna get it though, and so ultimately they will find 2 members and they will find this dragon.
Yeah, that final pickoff was really key there for Burning Core to take this Drake. A very back and forth fight here, and I think the real breakdown here is that they got the first kill, and this really sets up the rest of the play here. We're seeing a lot of skirmishing, but Reiner here getting picked up right at the start. You noted it there. A key tank for this team, and also a key facilitator for them to go forwards. Really, that HP bar is so necessary for Marble and Dasher to play these fights out, and it shows in its head here. Dasher has to play 2 up front. This hook comes in, and it really sets the rest of HAWKS on the back foot. We see Kanatu really trying to create space, and he almost does so, but Lance Spike is such an important tool. Well played from Burning Core.
Absolutely. And also Dasher's spellbook just really coming in clutch there, right? Giving him the exhaust that he needed. Without that, might have just found himself out on the gray screen. And there it is. That Super Mega Death Rocket. Very nicely placed, taking out Blank. But now we see Kinatsu once again taking out another turret. He's just being that split push threat.
Yeah, this Hullbreaker is working out quite well. Surprisingly, working out quite well for him. I don't know how I feel about Hullbreaker Aatrox. I'm going to keep it in my notepad for now, and we'll talk about it after the game ends, perhaps.
Depending on how it goes, we'll talk about it. If it didn't go well, we're just going to glance over it.
I'll just have the benefit of hindsight. I ever get to say, yeah, it was really good here. Oh, this is a terrible third chase, just depending on how the game goes. That's how it feels right now.
Yeah, for real. That being said, though, mid tier 1 is going down from the side here of the HAWKS, so that's going to be a little more gold going into Burning Core's favor. They're trying their best to sort of minimize that gold deficit. They're getting closer to closing it, but still a little bit of gold to go as they're about to lose this mid tier 1, and that's going to set them behind once again.
Yeah, they lose the mid lane tier 1, which means, but they have neutralized that you do mention, and you're right, it's 1k now down, and remember this is 1k down at 90 minutes rather than 2k at 15. Definitely a smaller and smaller gap, and they did have to burn the TP from Dasher as well, which may set up DICE for some side lane shenanigans to maybe set Burnicore up for and the next successful fight, which is really going to be around either potentially the Baron or more likely this next Drake, which is coming up in about 2 minutes now.
Yeah, definitely have to wait and see what ends up happening. Yuhi as well, slowly he's trying his best to close that farm gap as well. Does have that Kraken Slayer now, has opted for that rather than a Gale Force. Do you think that's the move, seeing as the champs that are on the side of the Hawks, or is this just you got to have that raw damage at this point?
I'm assuming it's because of the lockdown from SoftBank HAWKS being very specifically, other than some of the CC coming from this bot side, remember Rune Prison, so frustrating to deal with as an AD carry. He maybe sees that, and he sees also the follow-up lockdown and how much lockdown there is, and goes, well, if I'm getting caught, I don't think a Gale Force is going to save me here. So he's opted into the Kraken. I don't know how to feel about it at the moment. I feel like Gale Force, especially against Marble and Reiner's combination of CC, can be so impactful, especially from getting away from Kanatu. Creating space against the champion is so important. Now, they're trading the boss side, and Blank's here for the support.
Yeah, not quite going to find anything, though. Flawless was on his way down as well, just in case something, a bit of an altercation did end up happening, but nothing coming out of it just yet. Mountains Drag is going to be up in a minute 40. So I'm assuming that's when we're really going to see our next fight going down here.
One thing I really would love to see is how many stacks Flawless is on, because this really dictates the pace of this champion more so than itemization. You want to see how many stacks he's on. If he's getting, the first 3 or the first 6 stacks, getting that range increase is so big for this champion to make sure he can function in team fights. Going to keep eyes on him, how Flawless has managed to continue these fights, because that last Lamb's Roar split was very good, and Flawless specifically as a player has looked like he's very good on some of these key carry threats, but then when he's put on something with a little bit more utility, especially that Lee Sin from Monday.
Looking for some kind of an engage.
It's scary sitting here.
Indeed, it is. We're not even playing, and already I'm starting to sweat, to say the least. But Flawless opting to jump in. It's like you were saying, right? That Kindred, a champion that likes to kind of jump forward, get a little bit of damage out with that mounting dread as well. Can get that triple proc, do a whole lot of damage. But yeah, I would like to see Flawless's decks as well, because I swear I have not seen him change targets since he first marked Blank at the start of this game. I always see the little Blank icon above his head, so I don't know what's going on with that. Blank has only died once, so I'm a little worried he's not getting a lot of stacks from kills here.
Something I remember when Kindred first came out, and the Kindred subreddit was something that was quite popular at the time, was that just mark whoever's died the most. And right now you're seeing Reiner and Blank are the biggest dive targets, and Reiner also the squishiest dive target as well. Just chuck a mark his way. See if you're going to fish for that. I mean, he may have marked him already, so this is with a pinch of salt, obviously, but you know that Ryan is going to be your primary first kill target. Look towards that instead. But
indeed.
Anyway, we see this is very cheeky. Now, Burning Core throughout this game, something I haven't noted yet, I've actually been pretty much on the head of Vision. They've concretely created areas of deficit with their pink wards, and we see it showing its head there. Triple pink down in bot side, covering all jungle points as well as dragon itself, means that SoftBank HAWKS had no idea this dragon was to be taken, and it means Yuhi gets to solo take it, return straight to bot side, get a reset in, right in time for his second item, and it sets him up for second Drake as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was also just some great communication and team play coming out from the side of Burning Core. They're like, yo, y'all just chill up in that top kind of river area, right? Apply some pressure there, make it look like we're looking for something. I'll just be chilling here in the bot lane and grabbing this dragon. We have vision basically everywhere on the map, so if anyone's even remotely close to the pit, I'll know and I can back off.
Yeah, these zombie wards are doing God's work at the moment. Every single time Fuji places a ward, after it expires, you get that little zombie ward, and it just gives you so much extended vision that it means he only really needs to plant vision temporarily in some of these more defensive zones for him. That zombie ward maintains, just like Blue Trinket, until somebody walks in there, and it's really tricky for HAWKS to walk into these zones, and it's showing here because red side vision has been so strong. Finally gets eked out a little bit now, though, as Kanatu's overeager on the bot side, and Flawless is moving down.
Yeah, indeed. They do know that he is on his own just with the amount of vision control that they have.
Well, did
So
he
flawless
not
move
show
in.
on that
I
pink?
don't think he did because Kinatsu thinking that he might just be taking a fight here. The body
The
slam
Hawks
followed by
ping
the
the
explosive
Baron.
flag. Yep, indeed. World Ender did get popped here. Now Kinatsu running for his life. Going to try and heal up as much as he can on top of Flawless here. But Flawless dashing, jumping, skipping, and hopping around him like it's nothing and going to go ahead and grab that kill on Kinatsu. That is absolutely huge. Meanwhile, his team is trying their best to get this Baron, but I don't know if they can get it. A whole lot of damage coming out. The Solar Flare following as well. Dice doing his best to do as much damage as he can. The Spirit Rush, indeed. Gonna rush down Blank. Gonna look to get you. He will just barely get out of that one alive, and instead to grab Marble. And he will get out.
A huge win for Burning Cores. They pick off 2 more members. Fantastic. It's just unfortunate for SoftBank Hawks as they make a really big flub in macro. Kanato overstepping in the side lanes. This Baron being stanced for, but not being checked into hard enough. They don't have the DPS. This is not AD carry Zaya. This is penetration Zaya. You don't have the amount of full damage to come out, especially with this tank build coming in for Rise. They aren't able to pick it off quick enough and get aptly punished by Burning Core. A huge win for this team as they're coming to the game suddenly. First time, 2k gold lead, biggest speed bonus. Now they get to play through this Baron.
Yeah, absolutely. Things were looking pretty bad. Well, not bad for them necessarily, but yeah, you see this already. They're looking to move in here. They see that Ryan is incredibly low. The Spirit Rush getting right in, followed up by the Solar Flare, but it only hits Dice. So Dice is just able to get a little more damage in. Yuhi's on the backline, and just look at all that burst coming out. And meanwhile, Yuhi trying to do as much damage as he can. It flashes to get away and just barely escapes, and that allows the rest of Burning Core to actually just collapse on top of Marble and just take him out.
And Dice's pathing there was so clean. He pulled HP aggro. He used the flash to dodge Zaya's secondary burst after he picked off Blank. So good on this Ari. And this Horizon focus really dictates how he's trying to play these fights. Ulti in, find a single charm on any member of SG, and look to pick that off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got that blinding Jew as well, right? So going to be building that void staff, that penetration build, like you call it so much. They're really looking for it, looking for that amount of damage so they can just burst someone out of existence instantly. And if things are going wrong, they can always fall back onto Flawless's Lamb's Respite to kind of get them out of trouble.
And Directcam showing us where Kanatu is at the moment. I'm surprised that they haven't chucked Ray Farky or Dice to try and deal with this. He's on an inhibitor now, and I think a bit of trading happening now. Ray Farky does get the reset, but this turret are already so low. I feel like Kanatu can just commit to this. I mean, he doesn't know where the rest of the members of Burning Core are. So the turret lives in just a sliver, but look at all the space that Burning Core have got in return. Now it's up to them to walk into this Dragon Pit as SoftBank Hawks are taking a firm grasp on the vision finally for the first time in this game, right around this Drake, right around 4th Drake as well.
Yeah, you already know it's only going to be like 1 minute though before Kanatsu shows back up in that bot lane and grabs that turret. So really only delaying the inevitable. And it was a bit strange to see that no one matched him sooner, seeing as they had a lot of vision on him. That is unfortunate though. The Solar Flare and the Spectrum Maul both not quite going to find their target onto Flawless. We're trying to take them out as soon as possible so that there's absolutely no possibility that a Smite Steal can occur, but not going to find that. So instead, they're going to have to opt to give over river control to the side of Burning Core. Ooh, looking to find something here. The hook didn't quite land and hit the mark, so Lance Respite will be dropped, but Aatrox was just outside of it, so he does go down, and that is absolutely huge. But a very nice ultimate coming out from Marble. Will die, though, in the process, trying his best to get some damage down, only ends up finding Fujimoto, and that is huge, and they're going like, you know what? Yeah, we'll just send Flawless to take care of Dragon. The rest of us just go ahead and push.
Absolutely, they want to get the most efficient kind of post-fight advantage as possible. They're going to chuck 2 in the mid lane, 1 in bot side as well, as also leave Flawless to pick up this 3rd Drake of the game, and it puts him towards Solos. Yuhi gets excited and pick up these 2 remaining tier 2s. The economy Baron coming in full force there.
Yeah, absolutely. Their economy is booming right now. Makes you wonder when the crash is coming, but hopefully it's not anytime soon, at least in this game, because right now Burning Core have been able to just flip the tables, turn the tides, and they're looking real good. They were at a constant 1k deficit. Now they're sitting pretty on this gold, and now we get to see this fight. Oh, please tell me, how did this work out for them?
It's just Burning Core being on the first objective, and then look at this disruption coming up from Ray Farky here specifically. Plus Lamb's Respite means that basically SoftBank Hawks don't get to play the way they want. Marble is never engaged upon up until the end before the other members are locked out, which means he immediately gets bursted out. Really, shout out to Ray Farky there for playing that fight immaculately. Disruption plus the ulti to make a fantastic pick right at the end. Very well played. And yeah, leads them into 2 turrets. They get the soul point as well, another win condition for them if they choose to look towards it. And now you're left thinking, okay, well, how can SoftBank find a return in this game? We're seeing that goal difference so start right as the 25-minute mark hits, right as Jinx, funnily enough, hits 3 items. Who could have seen this coming?
What? You're telling me that he did that? Oh my god. Yeah, that means that the dasher needs to be careful. Oh no, does get hit by the charm, and that could definitely be huge, but so much damage still coming out from Marble and Dasher. They are not a force to be reckoned with. Dice definitely getting hit with the reality check right there that you may do a lot of damage, but so does the side of SoftBank HAWKS Gaming. And speaking of that, Kinatsu, once again, he's that split push that opting, though he did see those backs, so doesn't want to risk anything, but is helping to kind of alleviate some of the pressure that's coming up from these side lanes.
Big pick up for Kanata as well as his death stance. Now, it's up to SoftBank HAWKS to find an effective target within the next fight. And it's so tricky considering the tools that the Burning Core have. But if they are able to pick off any individual member of Burning Core before a fight starts as an individual pick, or in the fight, if they're able to find enough disruption to pick off Fuji or Flawless before they can use their own ultimates in return, that's a big turnaround for this team. They definitely have the tools to do so. You can see Dasher specifically. Look at his itemization. It's a very common thing nowadays, but this build is very, very focused around a medium amount of damage, a medium amount of tank, well, I say a high amount of tankiness, and focusing solely through this usage of the Rune Prison to pick off individual members. Combine that with this wave shove, as well as a little bit of a vision control net around this tri-bush. It means that Burning Core member, very squishy still now, to be picked off as Dice is pushing in this wave.
Yeah, Dice sensing something might just be off there, though. Yeah, sensing something in the water. They're going to go ahead and back off. They were looking, they did mark Dice for death, looking to see if they could get the kill on that, but nothing quite going to come out of that. And the Kindred actually opting for the Titanic Hydra. This is such a strange build. I do not see this very commonly.
I mean, very akin to the Zeri build, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously, a different mythic coming in this time will be that, and it's obviously specifically targeted towards Burning Core. They know the target. Oh, it's huge!
My, they found it. Indeed, it is huge, and they are just going to shut down Dice. Nothing Dice could do, and now
they go
look
straight
at that.
towards the Baron.
Yeah, they go straight to Baron, and because look at that death timer, 50 whole seconds on the clock, a good minute that Dice is going to be out of the fight, and Dice is one of their biggest engagers. Maybe they can catch on Marble here, though. This might be huge, though. Oh, yep, they do find Marble indeed, and they're going to send everything they got. The Blaze Thrower coming out, but it doesn't even matter. Too much damage. Marble will go down, and just like that, they turn the fight around. They get another kill. Looking to make it 3. Can they make it 4 here on Dasher? Gonna use that blast code to get over the wall. Yuhi looking to run another TP coming out. Can they hit the hook? They'll hit it indeed. And he will go gold, but where will you go when it's over? Into the ground. And just like that, Burning Core, they turn it around. The vision difference, the information inequality strikes yet again, and they're gonna get themselves that free Baron as well.
And Marble just fumbles the bag so incredibly hard. Burning Core are very quick to make that punish onto Marble there. In return, they get the successful fight. They lead into the Baron as well, and it's right on timer, not only for this soul. And this is the key play. This was fantastic from HAWKS. This is exactly what we were talking about, right? Individual pick, and that in turn can lead straight towards his Baron. But look at the positioning from Marble here. He's so eager to get onto the Baron to support his team, and that he thinks he has all the vision there because of this pixel push being warded, but he doesn't see Fuji in that fog of war. Pig comes up first, and HAWKS get lost. They have to defend that AD carry. This splits them up completely. This explosive cask stuns Kanatu for a full 2 seconds. Then basically Flawless and Yuhi get to play the game finally. They just walk forwards, run them down, and there's not really much SoftBank HAWKS can do about it. Now this Baron's getting it picked up. They go straight towards this soul as well in this mountain Drake, and we see Fuji and Yuhi are going to stance very aggressively. They don't want this contested. Alongside that, Dice and Rayfark are playing very smart. They're going to maintain in these lanes because immediately after this soul, they want to unlock these inhibitors to restrict Kanato from continuing what he's been doing all game, which is just his constant split push.
Yeah, absolutely. The saddest thing is that if Marbles had just entered that bush just a second later, he might have not even been spotted out because that ward, a new controller had just been placed and it was still in the process of dying. So they still had vision in that bush and they were quick, like you were saying, to capitalize on that and punish them. And speaking of punishing, they might just try to punish Blank the fact that they got that hook in.
Oh, it's so big.
Oh, that is huge. The charm coming in, too cute to ignore. And they are going to grab that kill onto Blank. Looking to follow things up with Marble. Going to have to drop the ultimate. So will the Lamb's Rest by actually saving Flawless's life. I do believe got dropped incredibly low. Now Yuhi looking for those resets. Won't quite find it, though. A lot of damage coming out, though.
Another charm.
Yeah, another charm lands. However, though, it doesn't even matter for anyone on the side here of SHG as they are just being decimated in their own base. Oh, come on. They really, you don't got to do them like that. They send it into the base and they ended it with that burning core. Are able to turn things around. Looking shaky at the start, but they prevail.
And I feel so smart right now because it's almost exactly like we talked about this in pregame. As soon as Flawless get on there